And very important is we cover up to age 100. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? So today, for this topic, when do you need the long-term care planning? I will try to build in this concept or sales idea for all of you. So later on, before we end the session, definitely I will share with you some sample package so that to give you some ideas lah. How do we, okay, when we actually bring up this concern to your prospect, then how do we address their problems with our insurance solutions? Am I right? So definitely, again, I need to make some disclaimer. This is an hour training sections. So basically, we just only share with you an overview of the product. So really need everyone here before you go for your sales presentation. Okay, read through the sales illustration, product fact sheet, and all the necessary document. For example, the product disclosure sheet, and also the fun fact sheet as well. So and advise accordingly based on your client needs. We always say we need to fact find, right? So later on, I also will share with you one very interesting picture, because from that picture that I did this picture later on I'll show you okay, the picture that actually I view in social media yesterday, and I feel like very strong aha to me. Okay, so later on I share with you what are the aha that I see. Okay, first thing first, look into my topic today, long-term care planning. Okay, what's the meaning of long-term care? When you actually search in Google, right, you actually can observe a lot of not a lot of people, actually a lot of title for this long-term care planning. Some very general majority of people we actually using long-term care, but some using the word okay called assisted living, some using the elderly care. So from the name itself, you roughly to know that what we actually trying to bring it out and what we actually trying to indicate to you, right? More towards to the golden stage, am I right? But from here, I will most prefer to use the long-term care, because for this long-term care, I am not necessary to emphasize on the old age. And also we wanted to look into the so-called production age, which is while we actually can we have the capacity to working to earn the income. That period of time also very important, because anything happen, how can we cope and overcome for the situations? So ladies and gentlemen, first thing first, let us look into here. What are the general definition for that? This definition I actually serve in Google. So when you're typing a long-term care in the Google, you roughly can get this the most high exposure definition for you. Okay. From here, you will see long-term care more, they emphasize on the when you need for personal tasks like feeding or moving around should you become severely disabled. Means that when you actually need the long-term care, while the person has no the capacity to move around on his or her own, then you actually need someone to assist you. That's a long-term care. Okay, but in the life insurance definition, I would say this I modify a little bit. I would say we actually wanted to provide the financial assistance to those who suffering from the chronic health conditions. More specific a little bit because in Malaysia we actually has not that famous with the long-term care insurance, but in other country, especially in the Western country, some general insurance or their life insurance, right? They actually built in for this long-term care as well. So long the person or the insured person fulfill the definition of that, okay, they needed some assistance from the other person to helping them, okay, or they actually unable to perform their daily living activity, then it could be fulfill for the long-term disability definitions. So in our Malaysia, especially in our HRA, I would say if let's say this client has lost the ability to perform the daily activity livings, okay, we actually able to give them a financial support. Either the financial support you wanted to have in lump sum or periodically payments, So later on, we will share with you. So over here, when we always talk about the long-term care, you will actually notice there's three words, activity of daily livings. Okay, what is the meaning of that? Later on, I also will share with you in detail and exactly follow our contract definitions. Okay, so with this, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share with you is care. That's care that goes further and the care for the unknowns. Simply to say, we have to prevent it. And when you actually already foresee for the possibility, then how do we actually plan ahead? Okay, so when we actually talk about long-term care planning, you will ask yourself what it is and when it is. How do we prepare for that, right? So straight away to show you the answer lah. When do we need it? Okay, when coming to the long-term care, okay, basically it happens at any age. Am I right? So as we always saying that tomorrow or accident, which one will come first? We forever do not know the answer until it happens. And let's say the unfortunate events happens after we actually receiving the treatment, or we actually go and admission and all those receive the surgery treatment, then after discharge, or while we actually so-called try to survive, okay, how long the period that we actually can tahan for that? In our life, we always say that maintenance. So how long that we actually need to prepare for that? 1 year, 10 years, or the rest of our life? It's really up to our luck, right? Okay, this is very simple question that we always ponder to ourselves before we actually talk to our prospect. But moreover, I would like to bring you out for this. Okay, actually, in more details, right? There are a lot of the unexpected costs that we ever imagine now. So I try to write down the main five over here. Okay, if let's say really happen on the so-called long-term disability, okay, what we actually might need to spend on it. First thing first, the aids that help in daily livings. In here, we actually more refer to the medical aids, like for example, the medical bed, oxygen tank, anything that the person is needed. And second, there could be the everyday living expenses. Okay, you will know that if a person, if let's say really needed to rest, or when actually bump into any unfortunate events, a lot of the living expenses needed, like pampers, what else are the living expenses, the medication, the nutrition, and all these things, right? And the caregiver expenses. And you know, nowadays a lot of people, when senior citizen, I will say, a person fall ill, who will going to take care of you? If let's say your family member, doesn't mean that they don't want to take care of you, they probably need to work in order to continue to earn the income. Am I right? To support the family expenses or all these things, household expenses. So definitely they might need to hire someone to taking care of you. And also, if let's say for certain very serious medical conditions, they needed someone to closely monitoring them. They also need to, the family member need to hire a professional caretaker to taking care. At the point of time, definitely the expenses even higher. Okay, yet to mention the medication and the therapy that you needed, and etc., those miscellaneous expenses lah. So have you ever think that with all these courses, okay, what's the estimated that you need to spend for every month? Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to make a wild guess? Just typing your answer in my chat room. Okay, do you want to make a wild guess? If let's say really a person bump into this disability, let's say, then subsequently needed a long period of time to so-called resting or resting lah, so-called. Then what's the estimated with all these cost that care that needed? What's the estimated cost? Come, ladies and gentlemen, make a wild guess. In Malaysia, that's why we actually has a lot of nursing home, special care center. Every single center has different charges and different services. Hey, no one make a wild guess and see. You should be no more than 1 million. For me, but Jen said 10,000. Every single month now, I asking every single month. It could be more than that 1 million, but if let's say every month about 1 million, well, high maintenance. So I show you in the so-called real case. Real case. Thank you, Jen. I think you roughly approaching that amount. Just for now. Okay, now first thing first, what are the possible reasons that we needed long-term care except those due to old age, which is natural causes. We do have all these possible risks, right? First thing first, accidental, okay, critical illness, TBD or OAD. Okay, OAD it could be say natural causes, I would say, because too old, right? But if let's say in the young age, what are the possible risks? It could be all these like accidental CI. After the CI, the person might need to bedridden for all the time. Okay, and probably still need to jalan for certain treatments. TBD, I think all this you know it very well because on the line here all are senior business partner here. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, statistic to tells you that okay, if let's say we do want to like consider accidents, so-called accidents ratio, okay, in the so-called statistics always tells you the facts, what facts that actually we need to concern, especially nowadays. I always mention that we living together with the virus, so even exposure to this kind of risk. So in Malaysia, okay, there are 11% for above 18 years old people that has the disability. Okay, and 4 in 1 of Malaysian adult experience functional difficulty. What's the meaning of functional difficulty? Like for example, they have a difficulty to seeing, they have a difficulty to hearing, they have a difficulty in remember, they have difficulty in walking. All this will be the functional difficulty, and also up to which level they so-called the condition is come to a very advanced stage or so-called severe chronic stages. Yet I will tell you, this will be strongly impacted on their daily living, the activity living as all these things all. And for the children, they also have this kind of risk. There are about 4.7% for children in the age range 2 to 17 years old people. Okay, so that's why, ladies and gentlemen, once you actually already notice that we have this kind of risk, okay, how do we prepare for that? So that's why I show you in so-called real case. This news headline actually is published in the year of 2022. Okay, this person, I think it's his late grandfather, okay, diagnosed stroke, dementia, and Parkinson disease together, okay, and his late grandfather survived after diagnosed of these 3 diseases, then survived for about 4.5 years. In these 4.5 years, total expenses are including the medical, surgery, and the so-called caring, the care costs, all add up together, properly. Total it is written over here already, 900,000. 900,000 for just 4.5 years. So ladies and gentlemen, anyone can do a very simple calculation for me. 900,000 divided by 4.5 means that roughly in a year, how much will it cost for this family? 900,000 divided by 4.5 years means that in every single year, roughly spending for this family spending for how much? Do some simple calculation. Come. Thank you, Jane. 200,000. Yes, 200,000 a year. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, okay, where this 200,000 goes, so from this news article, right, he actually did mention that for the medical bill, actually not that much, I would say, just about 80,000, sorry, 80,000. Okay, this 80,000, it could be can cover from the medical card, for example. But after that, after discharge, right, this person actually need to prepare for those, like we just now mentioned, the living expenses, right? So they have to buy those disposable underpants like adult diapers, surgical glove, and the feeding formula and all these things, right? Accessory is spending about 1,500 per month, and they actually needed someone to taking care for the late grandfathers. So the care cost for per month is spending about 12,000. 12,000. That's why in these 4.5 years, it's costing them about 900,000. Oh, so and I also searching another so-called survey for you all lah. Talk about for the Malaysia average cost of nursing home. If let's say you need to sending someone to in the nursing home, you have professional people to taking care or monitoring for that. It's about roughly 2,500 per month. And this one, I believe, yet to inclusive those so-called professional taking care fee. For, means that if let's say according for this article, right, you will see if this his late grandfather also so-called staying at the care center about 12,000 a month or 12,000 a month because it negate so-called in a serious medical condition. Okay, but in the very normal so-called okay pneumonia, okay, approximately according to surveys is about 2,500. But with this, I just want to bring up to everyone, okay, not just only medical, but we also need to taking care for the so-called long-term care planning, all these things. So with this, from the just now the news article that I share with you, everyone's, we 900,000 divided by 4.5 years, average per year is about 200,000. Like Jane just now helped us to do the calculation, and I divide even further to by monthly. Every single month, it could be need to prepare about 17,000. And this 17,000 is talk about nowadays rate. But what about today? Like JCH, I need to prepare for another 10 years later. Then we have to take into consideration of inflation, am I right? The future value. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, if let's say this incident happens, right? Where do we find for this 17,000? This is considered additional living expenses. Yet to talk about those like standard commitment, like loan commitment and all these things, yet to talk about this. So with this, okay, and how long the person actually can tahan or survive. Look at our Malaysian life expectancy. Okay, easily we can live up to about 76 years old. Comparing with Singaporean, we actually consider very okay, Sanjay, because Singaporean average age can up to age 85. So that's why you will see all these country, they actually has the so-called life coverage is higher than us one. So that's why our Malaysia market, Malaysian needed all of you, okay, professional service and advise accordingly. If let's say today the person bump into all these unfortunate incidents at very young age and yet can survive up to age 76, well, how many years that we need to tahan for that? 4.5 years for just now the news article, okay, for just I would say very so-called controllable like dementia, stroke, and Parkinson's. Because these three consider not, I would say not that need to spend a lot of so-called surgery fee, medicals in terms of medical bills. Am I right to say, ladies and gentlemen? Betul NC? Because comparing with the CI conditions, even high expenses, right, for the CI. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, so that's why in our whole lifespans, right, when do we need to plan for that? To me, it's now or any point of time, okay? Don't delay for that. Because the most capable that for us to do all this planning is during pre-retirement consumption. If let's say come into the post-retirement consumption, means that after our retirement age, then only we prepare for that. Then it will talk about whether you're actually eligible to insure or not. Okay. And also talk about whether you have the capacity to insure, or whether you have the so-called money affordability to pay for the commitments or not. Oh, so with this, ladies and gentlemen, whatever that I written down here is our goal for every single stage. But I need not to mention much because I believe that everyone here, you know it very, very well. We always talk about a lot of financial goal. So, but then have we ever prepared for that? And most important is the wealth protection have we completed? So that's why today I really emphasize on the protection, and the long-term care is very good subject matter for us to penetrate to our market. Because a lot of people actually try to overlook on it. They actually notice the importance, but then they try to overlook because or maybe like some people not that notice on it or notice the importance of it. For example, from this picture, what my colleague did, I like it very much. Like the iceberg, because whenever we actually surf on the sea surface, right, we only can see the iceberg surface only. So it's similar that a lot of the normal people, those people is not in our insurance industry one, they think that they actually has medical card or they have medical insurance, then should be able to cover for everything already. So that's why they always say, why I cannot see, I cannot get compensate all these things. We all know that medical insurance only covers for the medical bills, am I right? Which is during hospitalization in the hospital, only able to cover. But what about after discharge? You still need the so-called the financial support, am I right? Because for example, CI, normally CI in the old era, we always talk about a lump sum payment. Lump sum payment after the lump sum, then yet it's very small sum assured. It then in a short period of time, then spent already. But nowadays, we always talk about million and above because in view of our Malaysia currency, in view of the medical inflation and all these things, you are really needed minimum start from a millions, I would say. Definitely, we expect to your the prospect financial capacity lah. And why do we need CI protection, and why do we need the so-called disability income for us to packaging as a income replacement? It's because of all this due to just now JC already mentioned roughly the monthly repayment means that your monthly commitments, your daily supplements. Okay, if let's say you really like just now the news article, you actually need to hire someone to taking care for the person, then you're actually talking about all the caretaker expenses, all these things. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, let's to prepare it. Okay, so whatever that I show you is outside, right? Now I show you as our in-house claim statistic. I believe that you will more convincing because in the whole year, this period I show you is from January to December, 12 months. In year 2022, HLA, the total payout for the claim amount is about 326 million. Comparing with the last year, in year 2021, we pay about 268 million. So meaning to say, in just 1 year, our claim ratios, okay, we actually pay up to the increment about 22%. And if let's say we look into slightly detail a little bit, in terms of the death, okay, CI, TBD, OAD, medical, and the disability income, these 5 or 6 main pillars, every single one of them actually has a significant increment. This increment, I would say, good indicator, and also a very important indicator for us to determine that which area that we need to decide further for our client, existing client, and even your future prospect. Because look at here, critical illnesses actually increased quite a lot, about 15%. So in last year, we actually paid about 25 millions. Talk about OAD, you will see, amount seem like very little. Because why? Because OAD only starting at the older age, right? After age 65. So probably not that many people claim on it. But you won't know in future, maybe 10 years later, then by the time there are a lot of policy or the insured person already into the old age time, then this one will be even increased crazily. With now just only 1 year, it's increasing about 147%. More claim can more sales too. Definitely, because later on I share with you one statement. That's why some people they like to use the claim statistics to do sales. I also personally I also like, because whatever we promise, we really delivered for that right? And the disability income, that's why I purposely to put down here also. I want to share with everyone here. Talk about long-term care, not just only the lump sum. We also talk about the disability income base. So with this, you will see also has a very obvious increment for that 26% of that. So this is our HLA claim statistics. So it's what I written over here. What matters to you matters to us as well. Because I always saying that before we propose to our prospect, we are the client, we are client also, right? So that's why whatever that you want, whatever that you think, it could be your prospect what they're actually concerned on it. Okay, so that's why in this last year we pay out for 326 millions, meaning to say we actually insured and we really help, okay, so-called over 30 millions, 30 millions families in 1 year, because the total claim cases with the payment to 326 millions is about 31,000 cases, 31,000 cases, not 31 million, sorry, 31,000 cases. So average coverage it's just about 10,000. Okay, probably you will say, it is not that accurate, like you see. Then I break down into detail as well for you all. So talk about OAD, you will see OAD average it's just only 76,000 per cases. So for 76,000 comparing with just now the news article, the one monthly also using already about 17,000, right? In 4.5 years, 900,000 means that every single year, just now Jane calculation 200,000. If really we needed this long-term care, so-called when I old age, I need someone like, that's why already always there is a assistant behind the persons. Can I survive on how long I can survive with this money? So with this, ladies and gentlemen, very crucial in break to you all, medical inflation. Malaysia very pandai, every single year registered two-digit increment. So in the last year, we actually registered 12%. With this, meaning to say your medical costs, I look at the blue column over here, it's getting higher and higher, the amount of that, the amount of people. So this I also need not to measure much. Okay, so that's why the core value of a life insurance, when you need it the most, we actually pay you the highest value. It's similar like when we be buying a shoe, am I right? When you are small, definitely your shoe size is small size. But when you actually grow up, okay, you need to buy a different pair of shoe, right? Betul that, ladies and gentlemen. So sending to the life insurance also, if you already has the existing life insurance, okay, it's time for you to review, or it's time for you to help your client to review back their existing coverage. Is it sufficient or not? Nowadays, I dare not to say the person do not have life insurance coverage. They might have, but the thing is, they might not have the necessary coverage. Like I think 2 weeks ago, I just did a policy review for one prospect. Okay, sometimes we also do that. So the client actually has about, I think, if I didn't remember wrongly, about 7 policy. It's very young age girl. I think about 35 years old people. 7 policy. This 7 policy very, I will say sad or unfortunate sad. Her, because it's a lady, right? That life coverage, sum which is very huge, you know. If let's say she passed away due to natural causes only, there could be have 2 million legacy for her family members. But come into the medical coverage, only a year, 200,000. 200,000 sahaja. 200,000, I believe that, ladies and gentlemen, you will know it very well. If a person diagnosed COVID, then admission to ICU for about 4 to 5 days, talk about category 4, easily gone already. Am I right? So with this, ladies and gentlemen, that's why medical card, you know it very well. But what my concern for today, this topic is after discharge. What about you needed a long period maintenance or jaga, or I would say. So that's why I write down for these 5 reasons for you. In order for you, like you actually needed long-term care planning, what's the value that insurance can deliver to you? So the first reason, protect your asset, because you need not to sell your asset, okay, at the low market price or by force to sell, no matter the price is okay or not. Then you actually by force, you actually need the cash flow to pay for your daily maintenance or all these things. Second, definitely take pressure off from your family members. They need not to worry about the financial problems. Definitely give you one more option to choose your preferred care. What kind of care that you want? You want a professional person to taking care you, or you want JC child to taking care you, or is a lousy person. So that's why in here you will have options. As I always mention, when you have a right to have options, it's very good already. And fourth, which is come with the life insurance, you will have additional layer for the legacy, because in our HLA, normally we will packaging basic plan together with the rider, am I right? So once you so-called survival or disability, you already utilize the rider, okay? But your basic still there. So definitely your life coverage still remain there. You still can leave something behind for your loved one. Last but not least, this is very important, a replacement for source of income. Because if you decide accordingly, yes, you can deliver for this income replacement. That's why I give you one very general ideas. Okay, in our lifespan, how do we do our life insurance planning for that? We talk about the 3 main risks in our life. Okay, what are the 3 main risks in our life? Straight away show you the answer. Live too long, premature death, or too sick. Correct or not? So if let's say the person has a very strong concern on the premature death, then you can consider about the death coverage, PA or accidental coverage for this person. Because probably premature, right? Still, this person could be a very high chances is still in a single, okay, not that much commitment yet. So they very important is to leave something for their family member. So that's why I emphasize on the death coverage. If let's say a person has a concern on sickness or illness and all these things, definitely medical or CI coverage, correct? If the person thinking, hey, I probably have a chance to live up to 100 years old, or in, I think, these early months, we baru have one actor or actress, I think it's a lady, Malaysia actress, just passed away, right? Natural death, okay, at the age of 100. So with this, if you have this concern, macam mana? Long-term life coverage. Because in Malaysia market, maximum entry age for the life insurance is 70 years old, right? And OAD coverage is our unique selling point for that. OAD, because the point is we cover all causes, no matter it's due to accidental or illness or sickness. Okay, so long they actually so-called old age disablement, they will be able to get the coverage, right? So with this, I make a conclusion for that. For premature death, we're looking at legacy design. Too sick, then definitely medical or disability benefit. And if has a concern or live too long, then we have to focus on the survival benefits. Okay, so this is a suggestion to all of you. So with this, we have a various option for you to customize for your client, either lump sum, either regular income stream. Okay, so that's why lump sum is a one-time payment. So it's a kind of, we can so-called positioning as a immediate payment, immediate financial relief to your family or to you. But if let's say you wanted to decide an income based or regular income based, like for monthly income or yearly income, okay, upon the disability events, we very sales idea is income replacement. Because try to imagine a person really bump into a sickness, then really so-called fall into the disability, okay, unable to perform work, okay, for forever, let's say. So this life insurance packaging, we still able to release a monthly income or yearly income to the insured person as a second income stream to the family or to the person. Am I right? So with this, these are the new trend of our life insurance planning. So allow me to share with you some slightly detail on the TBD or OAD. Okay, TBD, I believe that everyone know it very well. In our HRA, our TBD definition, we have two categories. One is prior attained age of 16. The other one is after attained age of 16. Okay, these two age actually more or less are same. It's just only in the item one slightly different. If let's say for juvenile or minor, means that below age of 16, so long they actually fall into the TBD and they actually under medical supervision or in a hospital or similar institution, like for example, just now we mentioned the nursing home, all those things. So long they fulfill all these conditions, also can for so-called fulfill the TBD. But for the adult, means that above age of 16, okay, so long they're unable to perform work and not able, I just share with in the layman term, they unable to earn or obtain any wages, compensation or profit, okay, then TBD. This is item one. But most important for this TBD disability, first thing first is must total and permanent. Okay, it's not pre-existing one. And definitely for this condition must so-called maintain for 6 consecutive months. And plus the either number 1, 2, 3, 4, whichever. Okay, in a very general definition, we always say loss of both limb. Am I right? That's why it's total and permanent. This condition already maintained for 6 consecutive months. If let's say talk about the item 3 is loss of use of both limbs, then TBD definition, you are fulfilled. So far, okay, ladies and gentlemen. So for the both limb, okay, how do we consider the body, the limb, how to consider a limb? So for the hand wise, above wrist, then only consider limb. Not if let's say you're losing both hand palm, not consider TBD. That's why you probably need a PA by the time. If let's say talk about the leg side, then above the foot angle, above the ankle and above, they only consider a limb. So far, okay? Okay, so you want to know the detail, definitely welcome, come to our master technical. So for the exclusion wise, I just touch and go to share with everyone. So long, I think this is very general policy conditions. So long they are actually, this TBD is not self-injured one, or they are not participating in flying any aircraft, okay, or they actually is not serve during their working professional, for example, the army, the police, or all this person, okay, well, they actually perform the duty, then fall into TBD, they will not able to cover. Okay, and now coming to the OAD. OAD very simple, okay, because a lot of people can't remember what's the definition of the OAD. So today, JC would like to share with you a slightly detail on that. OAD, very simple. We use the disability lump sum rider to share with you. So for our OAD, disability lump sum rider, okay, it's after age 65, then only covered for the OAD up to age 100. Okay, if let's say the client would like to go for the OAD claims, first thing first, okay, this condition, okay, must certified by 2 medical practitioners, and moreover is appointed by the company, 2 medical practitioners, and have to fulfill means that this person unable to perform 3 out of 6 activity daily livings, and this condition must so-called persistence for a long 6 consecutive months. So okay, these are very important condition for you to take note for the OAD. And now we have to share with you is what are the activities of daily living. Okay, the daily living we actually have 6 activity of that. Okay, anyone can name me what are the 6 daily activity livings? Anyone would like to have a try? What are the 6 daily activity living? Sometimes when you share this also can be a sales pitch to your client as well. Because personally, I would think that OAD actually quite so-called easy gonna. Like just now the news article, if the person really stroke, dementia, and just now what else, Parkinson, easily 3 activity cannot perform one. Thank you, Bob. Shower, yes. Okay, let me show you straight away. First thing first, mobility. Okay, the person unable to move out from one room to the other room. This is referring to the so-called movements. Okay, yes, thank you, mobility. Yes. Second, the transfer. Transfer means that this person unable to move themselves, him or her, or from one chair to the other chair. This is so-called transfer. So whatever the daily activity that we mentioned over here, the person cannot perform on their own. They must rely on the other assistant to helping them. Okay, these 2. Thank you, dressing. Well, thank you very much. Yes, this already is our selling point, right? Dressing, they unable to dressing on their own. They cannot pakai baju sendiri punya. Convenience, okay, they unable to control the so-called PB boo so-called all these things. That's why you need to buy the adult diapers. Like last time, my grandma also needed very much. And eating, they are able to eating on their own. Okay, and last but not least, bathing or washing. Okay, these 6 daily activity, so long 3 out of 6 they are able to perform, and just like and fulfill with the condition that I mentioned just now, 2 medical practitioners to certify, they are unable to perform this either 3 activity, and this condition maintained for at least 6 consecutive months. Okay, so it's very easy, right? In the OAD, we seldom mention it's due to what causes. It's really cover all causes. So long they actually OAD due to sickness, they OAD due to accidental. That's why you will get this coverage from our policy. Then you can go for whatever that you needed for that. Am I right? So the detailed definition of here, like just now JC mentioned to all of you, very simple to present to you, present to your client as well. Anything that you want to check with me in further for the OAD? Okay, so that's why the activity not to say the family member say the person unable to perform must appointed by the company 2 medical practitioner. So with this OAD exclusion standard also is not the OAD is not from self-injured, or they are not participate or flying in an aircraft. They are not so-called, they are professional or perform already during the duty, official duty. Okay. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this package you actually see many of time. But I would say this is a very good tool for us, especially now we still have the complementary TBD, am I right? So that's why for TBD, if let's say the person really bump into TBD, they will get the lump sum coverage let's say for age 20 years old people, they still able to get additional 500,000 for their lump sum financial relief. And come into old age, if let's say old age also cannot perform the 3 activity out of 6, elderly care also can claim already, am I right? So for this elderly care for this basic plan asset elite is starting from age 60 years old. If let's say today you have another DLSR to add in, you will have another layer of coverage for that. And definitely you still have the life coverage for 1 million for your legacy purpose. So others I need not to mention, because today, if let's say I talk about long-term care planning, how do we cater for that? And elderly care, you will know we actually is distribute by 5 installment. So I believe that with this, at least we can help your client to ease majority of the financial difficulty. Like just now, the news article also 4.5 years. So with this 5 years can cover for that, right? If the client trigger half already, let's say they already taken for 3 years elderly care payment, then subsequent pass away, if the remaining 2 payments we can release together with the death benefit. Okay, for those who are new in HLA, you might a bit lost what JC tried to say here. That's why I for Blog Booster, is a fast pace, is a product reflection. So you really wanted to know the detail, please welcome to our workshop. I will share with you later. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, this is the picture that I mentioned earlier on. This picture is give me a very strong aha for that. Okay, what the aha that you can get from this picture? The aha is something that when you look at this picture, you think of some things. It trigger you to think of some things. Because for this wheelchair user, okay, if let's say the person never go and experience or fight for handicapped people, what they really needs, okay, they do this so-called sliding for the wheelchair person to landing. Okay, yes, it's good, but very dangerous, am I right? Now, the design just changed a little bit. They make it some ramp, okay, for the wheelchair person can so-called safely landing, at least reduce a certain risk, and they add on for the curve, so that even increase the safety, am I right? So you definitely give a security for the handicapped persons. So from this picture, I actually suddenly to think of one thing, the importance of design. So every time we share with you the sample package, it's just a sample. But today you really can click into your client hot button, is talk about the customize. You need not to have a major changes for that. What you need to do is similar like this picture. Okay, just give them slightly, okay, so-called design, or you add on some detail for that. Even though for policy review, existing life policy doesn't mean that not useful. It's still useful. It's really up to our professional service and how to help them to boost up the coverage and can matching for the current era and the future era needs. So that's why I have to clarify as well, whether the client needed disability income, or they're looking at lump sum, or they actually lack of the so-called disability income coverage for that. So that's why the important is customized. Okay, so with this, in order to bring up the features of that HOA, we have a very strong strength in here, because you all know we have a very dynamic. Okay, so in talk about the lump sum, you can consider all these riders that talk about TBD or OAD. If let's say you want to focus for this coverage, so we do have disability lump sum rider, meaning to say we cover TBD or OAD, or you just wanted to have this TBD, you just select for this version. And now we even have the disability lump sum booster 70 rider, meaning to say we can booster up their coverage at the age of 70 years old. Then following, they have a booster up coverage, because at the older age, right? So you can have a bigger coverage for that point of time. If let's say CI, I just recommend you the 4 CI over here first lah. CI Plus, CI Booster, okay, or 180 CI, because all they are lump sum payment. But today you wanted to design income based on a regular income based on monthly income or yearly income, then if let's say the person has a strong concern in terms of CI, then you go for CI monthly income more. If they only has a concern on cancer, then go for cancer monthly income more. If the person wanted to have a TBD or OAD income, yes, we have also either disability income rider or you wanted income booster 70 rider. So many choices for you, right? So that's why it's really up to your design how to mix and match for your prospect. And we always welcome you reach out to our FSA to check for further, like if let's say really have some inquiry for that. So this is another sample that I would like to recommend to you. Talk about a whole person concept. Okay, so essential means a very basic coverage. You can consider our life essential is our traditional plans. If comprehensive, you can consider investment link, okay, complete cover. And premium version, definitely none other than our asset series, asset elite or asset master. So the rider wise over here, just to mention to you, if client has no all this coverage, then you may consider to add on. If they already has similar coverage, then you might can consider to extend the coverage with all these in the red column over here. These are the rider that I recommend to you. Okay, and so that's all my presentation for today. So hopefully can give you some idea how you actually can try into your sales script for promoting the OAD and TBD coverage. Okay, and like JC just now mentioned, if you think they're too fast for you to capture all the product, because in product you all know technical wise, right? We do have this 3 core program. Okay, lot booster, which is like today we always talk about in 1 hour, share with you technical, sometimes product features, sometimes sales ideas, sometimes packaging. Or you wanted really mastering in terms of the technical, I will welcome you to come over for this 3 hours program, master technical program. Okay, just need to look for our quarterly training flyer, then you will get to know that what are the scheduled topic lah. And definitely you wanted to know the overview of HRA product. Welcome to our 2 days program. This is very suitable for those new joiner to our HRA, and also for those who wanted to recap back their knowledge for product knowledge. Welcome to our product training. Okay. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, I open for question for now. If you have no any inquiry, so feel free to help me scan for this QR code. Okay, give me some feedback. Okay, and evaluate our training. Definitely, we welcome you to put down your comment as well. Like for example, you wanted us to share any what kind of topic. Welcome to put down the comment. I will try to work out for you. Okay, thank you everyone. So I will still on the line here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask for now. And also really, please help me to do this evaluation form. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Lim. Thank you, Tia. Thank you, everyone. So later on, I have a Mandarin version at the 5 o'clock. So you can get your peer, get your colleagues. Okay, if let's say you think that this topic really so helpful to you all, so welcome to join. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all. Thank you, Jen. Scan the QR code and give me the evaluation then.